The easiest and the best outfit for this is to really keep it clean and classic, because that will never, it's going to be sharp, it's going to be professional, it's going to be presentable, but it's going to be so powerful, because there's nothing more powerful than like a very well structured classic look.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Welcome back to another episode of today's Medical Sales Insider. And today I have one of my favorite stylists with me. She took me from bland and ordinary in just a couple of videos to a really confident and professional style in my working life. So I am so excited to be here with her today. I know a lot of times when I'm speaking with medical sales representatives about how they could show up better on video and serve their clients in this new hybrid world we're all living in, the next question is, okay, what do I wear? What do I wear between going on a Zoom call with my physicians and then meeting somebody in a conference room? So today I'm so excited to be here with Basia. If you wouldn't mind, please introduce yourself and tell us about who you are and what you do for people.
Of course. Well, thank you for having me. As you mentioned, my name is Basia Richard. I'm a stylist, been doing this for a really, really long time. Started as a celebrity stylist, so I've done a lot of different celebrity styles, them for different projects, everything from red carpet to editorials to advertising, music videos, you name it, I've done it. And then I sort of, that was in my, I would say, mid 20s to early 30s. I got really tired of serving a lot of busy celebrities, and I kind of wanted to, work for my own and work on my own schedule. And what I have found is that a lot of women who are entrepreneurs like I was as a stylist, obviously I had my own business, I was running my own service business, based business, they needed help as well in order to look professional, in order to look presentable, look put together and trustworthy. So those type of elements they're looking for, and that's part of, since I doing it for myself, and I've done so many things in the past, this is sort of the path that I took. And also, that also kind of took me on a different journey of seeing the real transformations of real women who actually need that. It's just not another dress on another event just to take a photo, So this is definitely much more kind of happy journey, that I can just call it that way.
That's great. And, what I love about you is that you share from your own experience. I mean, you've been in the back room when you're trying to sew someone together before an event, right? And get that outfit just right for the red carpet. But now, I mean, you do so much more than that, even for people like me, just solopreneurs, right? I mean, for one thing, I remember the very first video I ever watched, I think it was over on YouTube. So if you guys aren't following Basia on YouTube by now, definitely make it the next thing you do after this podcast. But I remember thinking, this woman is going to save me money. Because then when I go to buy something and add to my wardrobe, I'm not shooting in the dark anymore. And now I can make sure I get select pieces that really speak to what I'm doing in business, who I am as a person, and I'm not having to refill an entire closet, because now I look at my closet in an entirely new way. So when you're working with your clients, are they feeling these same things? Are they saying, gosh, Basia, now I'm looking into my closet with fresh eyes? Is that something you see?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's the one thing, exactly what you mentioned. A lot of times, that's one of the objectives I hear working with a stylist costs a lot of money. But in the end game, what happens is that you really have somebody on your side who tells you what to buy, what not to buy, where to invest, where to save in order to actually have the wardrobe that you're going to wear. Because most of the time, my clients have all this wardrobe, they have all those clothes, but then they feel self-conscious. Does it look good on me? I don't know. Do I look presentable? They question themselves.
Right.
They feel like they wear amazing outfit. By the end of the day, it's like, I don't think this looks good. So, that extra pair of eyes, it's helping them, like you mentioned, to save money, because then you're not buying just some random pieces that just throw it in your closet and hoping you're going to wear it one day, or you're not really questioning your looking, kind of worrying about it. You just put an outfit. If you're not sure, I always say, send it in a Facebook group. We have a Facebook group for my clients, and I always reply. So it's definitely saving a lot of money. And most importantly, making you feel like you have a wardrobe that actually, making you look presentable, making you look trustworthy and feel actually good in what you're wearing, right? Because if you're not feeling good, it's just going to be kind of, sitting in front of that camera and zooming like, I don't know, how is this color looks like on, I don't know, maybe the necklace too big, like you're just kind of questioning yourself, right?
Yes.
So.
Yes, exactly. Well, and, for everyone who's listening to this podcast, the majority of, men and women here are in medical sales. So when you're in front of that physician, whether you're in the OR or you're on a camera, speaking to them over Zoom or Microsoft Teams or whatever it is, you can't afford to be worrying about your outfit. That already has to be done way on the front end, so that when you are in that moment, you can focus on the clinical aspects of what you're selling, connecting with that physician, and impacting the patient's life that's on the other end of that discussion. So I really love how you take this mystery off the table for us, because I know I can't be the only one here who has sat in her closet and stared for 30 minutes and then ended up walking out with my hands up in the air like, I don't know what I'm going to wear. I'm more confused than when I went in. So can you kind of break it down for us? Because I remember seeing something you posted a year ago. And it was about the staples that everybody needs in their closet. So can you talk a little bit about a couple of staple pieces that will help a professional woman or man, but right now I guess we're probably talking mostly about women, since that is your target. But can you talk a little bit about what every woman needs to have in her closet so she can be ready and confident and come across with, authority at work? What do they need? What do we need?
Well, so we have to go back to really looking at classic, because no matter where we are in life, that not only really applies to style, but the classic silhouettes, classic looks will never gonna be out of style. So this is sort of like, we're not even looking at what's your personal style, what sort of, type of silhouettes you are drawn to. We're looking at some staples, like you said, that's gonna look good on pretty much anyone. So something I'm wearing today, it's just a simple white button down. My shirt is, I just don't like anything that's touching my body, so I love oversized. Sure. But obviously you can wear something a little bit fitted. Now we can look also, if the white button down can be a little bit too, I would say maybe too polished, a little bit too almost like, I'm going to some kind of, conference for him, like I don't want to wear a white, specifically like cotton, maybe like a silk, something that's a little bit more breezy. The fabric is going to be a little bit more rich, but in the same time, it's not so like kind of stiff, right? Just the cotton white button down looks like that. So, and And also adding a little bit of print is always a good idea. So if you wear like a silk simple button down, maybe a delicate print, something really subtle, something, maybe like I would say can be floral, so little floral, nothing too big. Obviously, another staple is a blazer, but here's a kicker. So a blazer, especially on video, can look extremely stiff.
Let's talk about this.
But no. So what you have done is that the color, that's what makes the difference. Because the black is going to be so much more serious, right? A black blazer, if you put something darker underneath, it's going to give that so much more, I would say, in an evening sort of look, like especially during the day, like 12 p.m., you are meeting somebody wearing black blazer. It's like, I don't know. But a lighter color will always make it a little bit more casual, but you're still wearing a silhouette that gives a lot of authority, because blazer will give a little bit like a professional look, right? The color will make it a difference. So for you, this is great. So blazer makes you look professional, but the color is lighter. That's what makes it a little bit more casual. Anything else like crew neck are always really good. Something simple, because crew necks are great that we can layer some kind of jewelry, put a little bit of necklace, some kind of dainty pieces, nothing too big. Just big oversized sort of type of jewelry is very dated, so I would stay away from that. And I absolutely love what you have done actually with your style, how you took your sort of like a simple look to the next level. And I always comment about your earrings, which are also...
Thank you.
Because if you just put something like studs or something like simple, maybe hoops, that would be a little bit more professional, a little bit more put together. But you added a little cactus thing, makes it more fun, approachable. I absolutely love that. So small little details go a long way.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear you say that. And you know what? For everybody listening, if you can't see us right now, I'm wearing some gold and silver saguaro cactus earrings my girlfriend got me a couple years ago. And I don't know, every time I wear them, I think of our time shopping in Old Town Auburn, California. So I love earrings. For me, when we all had to default to wearing masks for so long, I felt like I needed a little fun. And for me, that's how I brought that across. Now, I will admit, when I was in the field, though, in medical sales, I was terrified to wear fun jewelry because at the time, I was in my 20s. I was working in front of oncologists and medical oncologists and surgeons. And I wanted them to focus more even on what I was saying than on my jewelry at all. Now, there were some physicians, specifically other women physicians, who we really bonded over stuff like jewelry and workout routines and just things you talk about with your girlfriends. But especially when I was in front of male oncologists who are light years ahead of me in their education and in their professional careers, I really buttoned up. So I remember many, many times it would be quite stoic jewelry, if any at all. But now I love adding a little bit of fun. So do you feel like everyone should focus on their version of character within their style? Or do you think they should focus more on what is more common in their industry?
I think both.
Okay.
Because on one hand, you want to stay true to yourself. So forcing yourself into something just because I'm going to look more professional, it's just not going to come really credible. Because just imagine yourself, you're throwing yourself something that you just don't feel comfortable, but you feel like you have to wear it because that is a professional look. On another hand, you do have to think about your clients and who you're meeting, when are you meeting, and the environment, obviously, and who you're working for, who is your ideal client, whoever we are meeting, industry, everything else. Because, again, in sales, I cannot imagine you would go in some kind of, hoodie or something like that, because that's just not a professional look. But if you add a little bit of earrings to your, because that's what makes you, this is who you are. I love it. It reminds me of my trip, or this is sort of like the small little elements that I can express myself through, a little jewelry, floral printed blouse because I love romantic sort of kind of accents, then absolutely, this is how you want to do it. Obviously, you don't want to go, 180, like I said, and just completely go into, let me put a hoodie, why not? But on another hand, you don't want to also throw yourself into something that's not really an outfit that you feel comfortable in, and you, like we said a moment ago, you're going to be questioning yourself, right? So am I like too stiff in it? Am I too not looking kind of professional, credible, or I'm just overthinking what am I wearing? So I think we just stay in between, right?
Yeah. Well, it's so interesting how now more than ever, personal brands have become center stage when it comes to sales. Whether you're embracing them or not, I highly encourage everyone in medical sales to really consider what their presence is, especially on LinkedIn, and what kind of personal brand they already bring across. Because the reality is, whether you're in sales or not, people already know you or know you for something. So like, for example, Basia, whenever I see you on LinkedIn, you are always buttoned up. And in fact, I recognize the shirt you're wearing right now because you wear it frequently. And I know that you wear this button up frequently with intention. It's because you know great style and you're teaching us something. So I almost associate like crisp white button ups with this casual style with you because it's part of your brand. So, do you think there is an element of repetition in our style that we should embrace so that when people see us, for me, for example, I wear fun earrings. For you, you often wear these really beautiful starched but casual button-ups. Do you think that there should be an element of repetition when we're representing ourselves with what we wear?
Yes. So like you mentioned, button-up is my staple. I cannot wear anything else. It's just who I am. This is me. I have different colors, different patterns, and I have jumpsuits with button-up buttons and shirts and things like that. For you, like you mentioned, are the earrings. I always see you. I'm like, first thing I'm thinking, what are the earrings today? I literally look for them.
I love it.
I don't know if it's because I'm a stylist, I'm gonna obsess with that, but I think it's just finding, not maybe always necessary a silhouette or not necessarily maybe, and it can be a style also. So if you are in love with some sort of patterns, with some sort of color that you look really good in, or you feel really good in. So this is sort of that you can stick to. Obviously, wearing the same thing over and over, I would not wear the white button-out shirt constantly, but I wear a shirt because that's how I feel, this is just me. This is who I am. Yeah. So finding that one thing that kind of represents me as a person, that might be a silhouette, it might be a color, it might be a pattern, might be a style, is what people will kind of remember you. So, but one thing I want to notice and maybe mention, wearing your branding colors constantly is absolutely a big no-no. So don't do. When I see constantly the same person, I have one, I'm not going to mention who, but wearing the same color all the time on every video is the branding color. I'm like, okay, that's enough of this. I can't do it anymore.
Yeah. I remember making that mistake when I first started my business and just started with branding. And at the time, my colors were kind of like a pink and something else. And it ended up not really resonating with my audience after all. But I really thought that I needed to buy every sweater out there in this pink color. I think it was also green. And that, I mean, if you look back at probably things I did on LinkedIn like 3 years ago, you'll be like, oh yeah, there's Claire in that pink sweater again.
Claire.
Come on, girl, like shake it up a little. But, you know, we feel like, you know, we've got to embody the brand, and sometimes we get stuck in things like that. So speaking of that as kind of a faux pas, so if anybody is going to plan on wearing the same sweater for the rest of the year, Bosch is telling you, you don't have to do this. But what are some other things that you see commonly, other pitfalls in fashion that you can help us avoid? What are some other things that we should not do?
Well, definitely dressing in some kind of, I'm calling it dated look. So going into dated. So like I mentioned, big chunky jewelry, something that it's plasticky. You see those type of jewelry like 10, 15 years ago, and I see a lot of women just wearing some kind of nice shirt and this big chunky, I can totally tell it's plastic, some kind of, well, it's just dated. It's not good. Another thing, big patterns, so big prints. So big prints usually going to make us look big on camera, and they are extremely distracting. So any type of big prints are a big no-no. Small prints are great. So usually, I mean, I would say usually prints are great, just small, delicate, something that it's not overpowering, especially if you're meeting, that regardless if you're meeting on camera and you're meeting in person, big prints are just, it's just not really good. And then obviously dressing for your body, it does make a difference, especially if, let's say, you have a really broad shoulders, even though we cannot see your bottom, because you need to make proportions right. If you wear some kind of puffy sleeves, it's going to look like you kind of football player, right?
Oh,
you're going to have that big sort of. So that's another one. I like always opening my neckline like how you are right now. That's why I like the shirts, because I can close it if I want, I can open it if I want, not something jewelry, but that always going to open up us on camera. You're going to look taller, you're going to kind of more approachable. Again, you can wear closed toe if you want, that's totally fine as well. It's, switching a little bit back and forth is always a good idea. On camera, another thing, stripes. This is something that I would definitely not do, or any type of texture, like repeated texture. If you can see, it's very tiny little stripes. They're going to make this sort of like a moire effect. It's like an effect you can see on TV very often. It's sort of like those prints kind of blend in. They blend together and they create some kind of like a weird effect, like a strobing almost effect. So that's just not really good. Stripes are fine if they are thick. I love stripes. I wear stripes, but I always pick thicker stripes, and also any type of patterns on some kind of texture that's gonna have that type of repeated kind of texture, right? So in shirts and a thing like that with. Again, that's going to give that like a strobing effect. So that's for the camera, not the best and not the best thing. Other than that, I always say wear whatever makes you feel comfortable, whatever makes you feel good, and make you feel confident, I guess. Yeah, because when we're comfortable in what we're wearing, and we don't have to think about it, right? Then we can be confident in other areas. We've all had that shirt or those pair of pants we wore, and suddenly they don't fit quite right, or they're too tight, or we're just not sure. And so we're pulling and picking at it and trying to focus on other things, but we can't because we're worried about our outfit. So I'm glad that you said that. I can see where being more confident in what you're wearing can also breed confidence in what you're doing. So I like that you've shared the difference between in-person and video. Okay. So do you think that most styles carry between both, other than the small patterns that can kind of have that strange strobing effect? Do you think otherwise absolutely.
Is there a way to gauge what's going to carry you from your Zoom meeting and straight into the operating room? Yes. So, when I show up or I kind of think about a look, or if I want to add something to my sort of my wardrobe,
I really think about how am I going to wear it and where I'm going to wear it? How is that going to fit my lifestyle? Because essentially, if we don't wear something in our closets, because most of the time it does not fit into our lifestyle, doesn't fit into activities that we are doing. So if you have a bunch of, dresses you wore before pandemic, they obviously been sitting in your closet for a really long time. And you wore most of the time for the past 2 years some kind of, sweatpants, and you wore like a kind of nice shirt and call it a day. Mm-hmm. But today we're doing so much more. And so the way I look at it is I'm thinking about that specific outfit. How is that going to fit into my lifestyle? So I think about meeting on Zoom. Can I wear it on camera for my new YouTube video? Can I wear it to dinner? Can I wear it to, let's say, dropping off my daughter to school and then meeting somebody after? So I'm thinking about all those kind of activities I'm doing. I'm looking at all my lifestyle. And I'm thinking, how am I going to have this piece of wardrobe fit into as many activities that I'm doing? Yeah. So today we talked about my white button-down shirt. Mm-hmm. I had actually open house at my daughter's school this morning. So I wore the shirt with high-waisted jeans and just simple sandals. Mm-hmm. I came home. Right away, first thing, I took off my jeans off and I put just a comfortable sweatpants. Mm-hmm. Now, I would wear the same sweatpants to drop off her to school if I don't have to meet anybody, and then maybe do like a grocery shopping on the way home. So again, this all gonna fit into different lifestyles, right? Yeah. My one most favorite kind of piece of clothing I wear a lot when I don't have to change is a jumpsuit, because I just put it on, call it a day. Yeah. It's only a question of different shoes. If I have to do something like go for a dinner or something like that, I wear a little bit of sandals, small heel. If I have to go and run some errands, go to a mall or meeting clients, whatever, I can wear maybe more casual shoes. But that's going to, that type of outfit is going to carry me throughout the day, basically.
Yes.
It's just a one onesie, right?
Yes.
I put it on. That's it.
Comfortable, functional, adorable.
Yep.
Yes, I'm all about the jumpsuit. So speaking of specific situations, because one reason I love following you and your content, and you guys, seriously, if you're not yet following Basia on LinkedIn or her YouTube channel, do yourself a favor and do so right now. But one thing I love is that you can apply these principles specifically to different situations. Now, one that I hear about commonly is I'll have professional women who have done well in their medical sales career and moved up to either a director position, or maybe they're just an outstanding representative or even VP level. And so, of course, as it does once or twice a year, there's a national sales meeting. And this is a situation where everybody from the entire organization who's in the sales department in some way all gathers at some hotel in Dallas, and they rent out the ballroom and they have a multiple day conference, right? And if you do well on a team, or if you're the VP of sales, you inevitably have to get up and give a speech. So if you were speaking to somebody who was about to go up there and give a speech and either talk about their sales strategy that's working for them, to share that with the team, or they're just trying to inspire the sales force, but they want to come across, she wants to come across professional, she wants to feel comfortable, but she's got to really play up the style a bit because she's running the show. What would you what kind of advice would you give to her when she's packing for that event?
Well, I always start with time of the event, because we cannot talk about an outfit unless we know if it's going to happen at a lunchtime or it's a dinner. What is the dress code? Because again, I cannot give you an advice until I know what is a dress code. If it's in Dallas, might be in the evening, 7:00 with dinner. I'm already thinking there's going to be probably Four Seasons somewhere in Fort Worth, Texas, somewhere outside, maybe Dallas or somewhere like that. I'm already kind of visually seeing all those women. I think the easiest and the best outfit for this is to really keep it clean and classic, because that will never be, there's going to be sharp, it's going to be professional, it's going to be presentable, but it's going to be so powerful, because there's nothing more powerful than like a very well structured classic look. So I'm thinking it can be a pantsuit, doesn't need to be black, it can be navy, it can be any other color, whatever the color a person likes to wear, but a structure on something that it's so smart that the blazer fits like a glove, the pants are just perfect, high heels, and this is the most powerful kind of sort of outfit that a woman can really, come out on stage and just give the speech or of her life, or this is a really, and another silhouette will be a chic dress. So it's sort of like a dress that belongs in like a courtroom. Okay. It's like a courtroom attire sort of. So really well structured. Again, everything comes down to smart structure, a really well fitted silhouette. That's more important than actually a style, because there's nothing more distracting or more like off, sort of like confusing if somebody is wearing something that it just does not fit well. So I would say a really good pantsuit in one color with something simple underneath, a simple necklace, some kind of dainty necklace, can be earrings, high heels, doesn't need to be super high, but closed toe, heels, something classic and clean, or like one of those very smart, well-fitted, like Victoria Beckham dresses, one of those dresses that just follows nicely your curves, but it gives that kind of powerful and smart sort of like presence. And I think this type of, in the environment that we're talking, obviously at 1 p.m. there'll be a little bit different.
Sure. Oh, thank you so much. I mean, it really does help to sort of play out these and visualize the situation in your mind, just like you were doing, because our clothes and what we wear is another tool to support what we're doing, right? It's another tool to really support that presence that you mentioned, that authority and credibility that you mentioned. And also, we want to come across trustworthy, right? I mean, if we're leading a sales organization, we want the people who are in that room to say, she's here to teach me something great. I trust her and I believe in what she's doing. I'm going to give her my attention. So thank you so much for playing through that scenario with us. So for anyone who is listening right now or watching this live, Basia, can you tell us where people can find you and connect with you and learn more about how they can get great style tips that really build that credibility and that professional brand?
Sure. So we can connect on LinkedIn.
Okay.
I'm on YouTube as well at Basia Richard. Simply, you can just put my name in YouTube. I'm going to come up. You're going to see some old videos for geared towards stylists. Completely ignore it. Look at the newest stuff. And I'm also on Instagram. I'm at Basia.stylist. That's my Instagram, and that's where you can basically find me or anything else.
Thank you so much. That's great. And you know what?
Of course.
I mean, you've done so much for me, and in the short time we've known each other, I think we bumped into each other on LinkedIn last year. And since then, I've learned so much from you, and you are so generous with your style tips. And so I really appreciate what you're doing. I love how you're empowering women to really embrace their style and to know how to master it in the same time. So thank you so much for being here with us today, Basia. I really appreciate you, what you're doing.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, until next time, guys, go follow Basia. Make sure you check in with her on all of those places she mentioned. And thank you so much for joining us today. See you later.
1, 2,